In late 2021, Google released the Pixel 6 Pro, which was a huge leap from 2020's Pixel 5, which was an overall boring and lacking phone, having a lower-end processor, lacking features like Wi-Fi 6, and having an overall disappointing turnout compared to Samsung's Galaxy series that it was competing against. When the Pixel 6 is released in 2021, I had an iPhone 13 Pro, and I was actually impressed by how good the Pixels were getting. The Pixel 6 Pro had a substantially upgraded camera, which began a defining design trait of modern Google Pixels with the camera bar, and the overall curved but still aggressive design. The Pixel 6 Pro's camera is amazing. I think that it can easily compete with the iPhone 14 Pro from 2022. The cameras still hold up amazingly even though the Pixel 7 series has came out since then. On a phone, the display is a very important thing, as it's the main way of interacting and viewing content on the phone. The display on the Pixel 6 Pro is top-notch too. It's got a slightly curved 120Hz OLED display, which is super smooth, colors are great, and the size is actually great for the weight and the general feel of this phone. More on the size of this phone, it's a very big phone, but it's one of those phones that I can put up with a larger display size, because it uses that display size. Android takes advantage of a larger display, a lot more than iPhones at that. The weight and thickness are great too. I don't notice this phone weighing me down like the 13 Pro Max did when I used one as a short-term phone. Battery life is also long-lasting, even though the charging speed is extremely slow even on fast charging. Unfortunately, my display on this phone has a slight black dot in the top right corner from the previous owner. The processor that this phone uses is Google's own first-generation Tensor chip. The processor feels extremely fast, even quicker than my Galaxy S22 feels, which this phone competed with in 2022. Even though this phone's performance was never best in class, it always felt quick, and I think that it is holding up great with time, which was a worry at the time in 2021 with the Google Pixel's Tensor chip. This phone also has the benefit of being a Google Pixel flagship, and having prior generations to build on top of. Small things that matter, like the speaker quality, fingerprint scanner, build quality itself, 5G, and everything else that a flagship phone should do properly, this phone does properly. One of the small things that this phone did perfectly is the Wi-Fi chipset. This phone didn't just upgrade the Pixel to Wi-Fi 6, which the Pixel 5 lacked, but it got Wi-Fi 6E, which is still being adopted by phone manufacturers, and Apple has yet to add it to any of their phones. More on the build quality, it's great. The sides are proper aluminum, unlike the Pixel 5, which was coated in plastic, and the back and front are both glass. This phone, even being moderately beat up from the previous owner's usage, still feels great to use. The pricing on this phone used is great though, as it's gone down a lot since it came out in 2021. I'm surprised that this phone, having such a good camera, great performance, and a great display, is so cheap. I don't really recommend people buying used phones. I don't like them. I'd never really main a used phone, but for those people who do want a used phone for whatever reason, this is a good choice to go with. Early this year, I said that the Nothing phone was the best value Android phone, and while I can't recommend a used device, and I still recommend the Nothing phone over everything because it has the advantage of being brand new, I think that the Pixel 6 Pro is the best used value phone, and one of the very few used devices I could start to recommend people purchase. So for the last time, with that being said, I still recommend buying new. There are so many problems that could occur in the future with used phones, and with the value of mid-range modern phones, it's really hard to get a bad phone in 2023. Since I wrote the script for this video about a month ago, my Pixel 6 Pro got a pretty major problem. Reverse wireless charging no longer works. So I guess that all used phones really do have some sort of problems, and that's the problem with buying used. So with all that said, those are my thoughts on Google's Pixel 6 Pro from late 2021. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be appreciated, and if you want to see more content like this, you can subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.